Have you ever wondered why some women seem naturally drawn to older men, while younger guys who try twice as hard often get overlooked? Have you ever watched a woman smile, lean in, and become genuinely interested in a man who wasn't the best looking guy in the room, wasn't the richest, and wasn't trying to impress anyone? Maybe you've been there. You send the texts, you start the conversations, you do everything right, and somehow she still loses interest. Meanwhile, another man walks into the picture and suddenly she seems captivated. If that frustration sounds familiar, stay with me. I'm here with Secret Mind Code, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. Because what you're about to learn has very little to do with age itself. And I'll warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. Here's the truth. Most men think women are attracted to older men because of money, status, or security. Sometimes those things matter, but they're not the real reason. The deeper reason is psychological, emotional, subconscious. Women often struggle to explain it themselves because much of attraction happens below conscious awareness. It's not a checklist. It's a feeling, a sensation, a deep pattern. And if you've ever felt like you're missing some secret rule book, I want you to hear this carefully. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. You weren't rejected because you're broken. You weren't overlooked because you're not enough. Most men simply learned the wrong sequence. They focused on proving value before creating emotional connection. They tried to impress before creating curiosity. They chased attention instead of becoming magnetic. That changes today. Because once you understand the hidden qualities women often associate with older men, you stop forcing attraction. You stop chasing. And you start becoming the kind of man women naturally want to move closer to. Evolutionary psychology gives us clues. Human beings make thousands of decisions through mental shortcuts. The brain constantly scans for emotional signals. Safety, strength, confidence, uncertainty, purpose, connection. And many older men accidentally communicate these signals more effectively. Not because of their age, because of their behavior. Let's break it down. The first thing women love about older men is masculine presence. Not muscles, not height, not expensive clothes, presence, grounded energy, the ability to stay calm when everyone else becomes reactive. Think about it. When a woman talks about a stressful day, many men immediately try to fix everything. They rush, they interrupt, they become anxious. A grounded man doesn't do that. He listens. He remains relaxed. He doesn't need to prove anything. You can demonstrate this immediately. The next time a woman tells you something emotional, don't rush to solve it. Slow down, listen fully, respond thoughtfully, stay centered. That's presence. And presence feels powerful. Calm is attractive. The reason this matters runs deeper than most men realize. A calm man creates emotional stability. The nervous system notices. The subconscious notices. People trust what feels stable. People move toward what feels safe. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent. And silence can speak volumes. The second hidden quality women love is emotional challenge. This surprises many men because they think attraction comes from agreement. It doesn't. Respectful tension creates polarity. Playful challenge creates excitement. Many younger men fall into a trap. They constantly seek approval. They agree with everything. They never risk disagreement. A confident older man often does the opposite. Not because he's rude, because he's secure. Imagine a woman says she's always right. Instead of instantly agreeing, you smile and say, "That's a bold claim. I think we need evidence." Now there's playfulness. Now there's tension. Now there's chemistry. Emotional challenge reminds people you're an individual, not a follower. Attraction needs contrast. Polarity creates sparks. That's the difference. The third thing women love is selective attention. This one is incredibly important. Older men often have lives that don't revolve around validation. They have goals, responsibilities, purpose, experiences. They aren't checking their phones every 5 minutes hoping for a reply. And that changes everything. Attention becomes valuable when it's intentional, not constant. Many men accidentally communicate neediness by always being available, always waiting, always responding instantly, always seeking reassurance. But a man with purpose has somewhere to direct his energy. He enjoys connection, yet his life remains full without it. Imagine texting a woman and then genuinely returning to your work, hobbies, fitness, or mission. Not as a game, as reality. That's selective attention. You are interested, but you are not dependent. Scarcity creates value. Purpose creates attraction. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join Secret Mind Code community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's go deeper, because the next qualities explain why some men create emotional bonds almost effortlessly. The fourth thing women love about older men is intentional listening, not hearing. Listening. There is a massive difference. Most people listen to respond. Very few listen to understand. Women notice this immediately. A woman might casually mention her favorite childhood memory, her dream destination, her grandmother's advice. Most men forget it within minutes. An intentional listener remembers, not to manipulate, to connect. Weeks later, you ask about that destination. You reference that story. You remember the detail nobody else remembered. Suddenly, she feels seen, not looked at, seen. That distinction changes everything. Psychologically, being understood is one of the strongest emotional experiences humans can have. We all want it. We all crave it. And when someone consistently remembers the small things, it communicates genuine interest, not performance. Presence plus listening creates a rare combination. People remember how you make them feel, and feeling understood is unforgettable. Now let's talk about something many men misunderstand: vulnerability. The fifth thing women love about older men is calibrated vulnerability. Notice the word calibrated, not emotional dumping, not constant complaining, not playing the victim. Real vulnerability is strength under control. It's honesty without desperation. Many younger men swing between extremes. They either hide everything or reveal everything too quickly. Neither creates attraction. A mature man understands timing. He shares real experiences, real lessons, real challenges, but he speaks from growth, not wounds. For example, imagine talking about a difficult period in your life. Instead of saying, "Everything was terrible and I couldn't handle it," you say, "It was one of the hardest experiences I've faced, but it taught me resilience and changed how I see life." Same story, different energy. One creates concern, the other creates respect. People trust authenticity. They distrust masks. Calibrated vulnerability signals confidence because it shows you aren't afraid of the truth. Strength and honesty, a powerful combination. Now here's something fascinating. Research on human connection repeatedly points toward the role of bonding hormones like oxytocin, which brings us to the sixth thing women love: gradual physical touch, respectful, natural, intentional. Many men either avoid touch entirely or rush it. Both create problems. Connection grows best through gradual comfort. A brief touch on the shoulder during laughter. A warm greeting. A gentle hand guiding through a crowded space. Nothing forced, nothing excessive, everything respectful. The goal isn't physical escalation. The goal is comfort, trust, connection. Human beings are wired for physical communication. When done appropriately, touch reinforces emotional bonding. It transforms interaction from theoretical to real. But timing matters, awareness matters, respect matters. Always. Attraction grows through comfort, not pressure. And that's why maturity often stands out. A man who understands boundaries is far more attractive than a man trying to force outcomes. Patience creates trust. Trust creates opportunity. Now we arrive at the final quality. The one almost nobody uses correctly. The seventh thing women love about older men is controlled unpredictability. Read that again. Controlled unpredictability. Not inconsistency, not games, not manipulation. There's a difference. The human brain is highly responsive to dopamine. Dopamine responds to anticipation, novelty, reward uncertainty. That's why predictable routines can become emotionally invisible. A mature man often brings variety naturally. One day he's discussing a serious topic. The next he's sharing a spontaneous adventure. One conversation is deep. The next is playful. One date is thoughtful. The next is surprising. You never feel confused, but you remain curious. That's the key. Curiosity fuels attraction. Imagine every interaction following the exact same script. Same texts, same jokes, same patterns. Eventually, the brain stops paying attention. Now imagine a man who remains authentic but occasionally introduces something unexpected. A different perspective, a new experience, a surprising invitation, a spontaneous story. Interest stays alive, excitement stays alive. Controlled unpredictability creates emotional momentum. And emotional momentum is powerful. This is where many men make mistakes. They think attraction is built through perfection. It isn't. Perfection is often boring. Human connection thrives through emotional texture, confidence, playfulness, depth, mystery, warmth, strength, all working together. That's what creates chemistry. Now let's connect everything. When women are attracted to older men, they usually aren't responding to the number of years he's lived. They're responding to what those years often produce. Presence, challenge, purpose, listening, authenticity, comfort, mystery. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to wait 20 years to develop these qualities. You can start today, right now, this moment. Masculine presence is a skill. Practice staying calm. Emotional challenge is a skill. Practice playful confidence. Selective attention is a skill. Build a meaningful life. Intentional listening is a skill. Remember details. Calibrated vulnerability is a skill. Tell the truth with strength. Gradual physical touch is a skill. Respect comfort and connection. Controlled unpredictability is a skill. Stay interesting without becoming inconsistent. Every one of these can be learned. Everyone. Because attraction isn't random, it's patterned. Human beings respond to signals. And when your signals change, your results often change with them. Think about the men you've admired, the ones people naturally gravitate toward. Were they perfect? Probably not. Did they have flaws? Absolutely. But they often possessed a grounded certainty, a quiet confidence, an emotional steadiness. They didn't need constant approval. They weren't desperately chasing attention. They weren't performing. They were simply comfortable in their own skin. That comfort becomes contagious. People feel it. People trust it. People are drawn toward it. The irony is that many men spend years trying to become more attractive while ignoring the qualities that actually create attraction. They focus only on the surface, The deeper game happens underneath, in behavior, in energy, in communication, in emotional intelligence. That's where transformation begins. And once you understand this, you start seeing interactions differently. You stop asking, how do I get her to like me? You start asking, how can I become more grounded, more intentional, and more connected? That question changes everything because it shifts your focus from chasing outcomes to building value. Real value, internal value, the kind nobody can take away, the kind that follows you everywhere. Women notice it, men respect it, and most importantly, you feel it. You walk differently, speak differently, carry yourself differently, not because you're pretending, because you're evolving. That's the real secret. Not tricks, not manipulation, not lines, not games, growth, intentional growth. The qualities we've discussed today aren't shortcuts. They're tools, real tools. And when you use them with respect and intention, they improve every relationship in your life, not just romantic ones. Friends notice, co-workers notice, family notices, you notice. That's the power of understanding human psychology. It gives you choices. It gives you awareness. It gives you direction. So if you've ever felt overlooked, remember this. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. You don't need to become someone else. You need to develop parts of yourself that may have been ignored. You don't need to force attraction. You need to create the conditions where attraction can naturally grow. That is a completely different mindset. And it's a far more powerful one. The man who understands these principles doesn't chase validation. He builds value. He doesn't beg for attention. He becomes worthy of attention. He doesn't manipulate emotions. He understands them. He respects them. And because of that, he moves through the world differently. Calmer, stronger, more intentional. That's your new identity. A man who understands the deeper patterns. A man who uses real tools, not tricks. A man who acts with respect and intention. A man who knows that attraction isn't about perfection. It's about strategy. And once you truly understand that, you've already begun to level up in ways most men never will. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to Secret Mind Code now. Turn on notifications because the next one will shift your reality again.